Hello everyone, it is Dani and welcome to this update video this morning. I hope you're doing really fantastic, and as we look at this map here we can tell that there is so much going on right now across the Atlantic. So we're going to be taking a look at all 5 of our systems, and we're going to be focusing on the Caribbean disturbance 90L though, so stay tuned for that. And before I go into details, please do subscribe if you haven't yet done so and tap the bell so that you never miss an important update. Okay, so we're starting out looking at the 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook coming from the National Hurricane Center, and we have 4 areas to watch for potential development while we have a tropical depression out there, tropical depression 6, and this one might not become much. Let's go on to the cone forecast real quick, and here we can see that the maximum winds are 35 miles per hour. It is moving westward at 15 miles per hour, and so it is expected to dissipate as we head maybe into tonight going into tomorrow. So the wind shear and dry air are taking their toll on it. We'll look at those later down in the video when we take a look at the conditions out there, but now we want to take a look at the latest for our other disturbances. So we're moving toward the west here. So we're starting out with the latest, that tropical wave which has emerged off Africa, now given a 40% chance to develop. So the chance is increasing for this to become something, and I believe it will manage to become a named storm out there as we head toward 98L. Here we can see that it is still given that 70% chance to develop. So after today though, as we head into tomorrow, that window of opportunity for it to get itself together is gonna be closing, and what it really lacks right now is a defined center of circulation. So it has to meet the threshold before it can be considered as a tropical cyclone. As we head to the Caribbean, here we have Invest 90L still producing a lot of rainfall. We're going on to the satellite imagery very shortly. The chance is at 70%, so a high chance of development, and I'm expecting this morning that this chance will be at around 80 or 90% when that 8 a.m. update comes in. And now we're finally seeing it being depicted on the outlook here, that turn up to the north, because I was wondering why NHT hasn't been showing that in the previous updates, but now we're starting to see it. So more confidence on that turn up to the north. And then as we take a look at our system headed to the Gulf, we can see that that is given a 50% chance to develop, could develop on approach to the southern Texas coast, go into northeast Mexico. So we'll see what eventually happens with it. Not yet designated as an invest, but when it does, it'll likely become 91L. And so guys, now we are moving on to the satellite imagery. So here we can see our systems near Africa, Invest 98L, and our next tropical wave, which is pretty disorganized right now as expected. As we head further to the west, here we can see our depression number 6. Most of that activity is to the east of the center of it as that wind shear is kicking in. And then we can see a lot happening in the Caribbean. We've got our Invest 90L in the area still producing a lot of heavy rainfall for most of the Lesser Antilles this morning. And so I saw the comments from you guys, the flooding in some areas, Trinidad yesterday, St. Vincent. Let me know in the comments what is happening for you, and I hope that everyone is safe. So that is the reason I always emphasize the importance of preparedness, and I always mention the fact that we do not need a tropical storm or a tropical cyclone on a whole to result in these dangerous impacts. This here is a strong tropical wave at the moment, not yet defined as a tropical cyclone, though it is heading in that direction. So tropical storm-like conditions are likely occurring and will continue to occur across some areas as we head through today. But the next areas of concern would be Hispaniola and even Puerto Rico as well. So a lot is going on with the system here, and so it is going to be a flood threat. That threat of landslides, mudslides also going to be pretty high for those islands. And then the ABC Islands could experience an increase in rainfall as this makes its way by, even some heavy downpours at times, which is very much needed because it has been rather hot and dry. I've been seeing comments from you guys. As we look into northern South America, parts of Colombia, Venezuela, we can see that there is some activity there. Let's head further toward the west for a brief moment, and here we can see that there is some moisture in the area, and we've got our next disturbance disturbance heading into the Gulf, which is helping to produce those scattered showers and thunderstorms in some areas. So off the coast of Cuba, Jamaica, near the Cayman Islands, Andros Island in the Bahamas, and even near Florida as well. So some of these areas could experience some continuous rainfall activity as we head through today. Also seeing some action down in the southwestern Caribbean. Now let's go ahead and return to our disturbance. And so we're going to be taking a look at the model intensity and track guidance, after which we're going to be talking about the conditions out there. But firstly, I want to go to the rainfall map before I forget. So as this map becomes more colorful, as we see more of these shades of reds, burgundies, purples, that is where a lot more rainfall is expected. So heavy rains will persist across most of the Lesser Antilles, as I said. However, as we head more to the vicinity of the northern Leeward Islands, the vicinity of Anguilla, there might not be as much rainfall. And I know that you guys have been wanting a pretty good downpour. Hopefully that will take place. But as for major rainfall, that is going to stay more probable. That's going to be more probable for the islands going toward the southern Leeward Islands and northern Windward Islands as well. ABC Islands could see some rainfall through today. Similar story as we head to parts of Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands. Much not expected for Hispaniola, nor for the eastern side of Cuba. For Jamaica, there could be some showers popping up. And then as we head into the vicinity of the Bahamas and into the southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos Islands, much not likely. But we see that substantial rainfall expected in western Cuba, maybe for the Cayman Islands, southern Florida, and even into some spots across Central America, headed to northern South America. But looking over into Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, it's getting a bit drier over there, so much not expected as we head through today. And then now let's go ahead and take a look at the model intensity and track guidance for 90L. So we're starting out with the track guidance, and here we can see that these models are in pretty good agreement right now. We have that one showing that, hey, this is going to move westward for a longer time and then make that turn a bit later. But most of these are showing that this will be making that turn into the Dominican Republic. So DR could be the country that experiences landfall should this intensify into a tropical storm, which I think is pretty likely at this point in time. I'm expecting that it will become a tropical storm before moving back out into the Atlantic. As we look at the model intensity guidance, though, take a look at this. All available models but one expecting that we are going to be seeing this intensifying into tropical storm. But look at this dip here. Now, this is going to be making its way over land, and as a result, it is going to weaken. So that is why we see this dip expected right here, and this same one not expecting it to develop is the one showing that, hey, this is going to continue westward for a longer time. And that would be true if conditions were not conducive enough, because a weaker system tends to trend more toward the west. But as it is going to be making its way back out into open waters, then we're going to be seeing more intensification, and some of these even expecting that it will become a hurricane, which I'm expecting as well. I think that it will intensify into a hurricane. Let's go on to the conditions now. We can see that the waters are off the charts as per usual. Very warm waters out there, especially in the Gulf. So that Gulf system will have a pretty decent shot at trying to get itself together and becoming something, even a weak tropical storm. As we head into the Caribbean, very warm as well. Similar story out into the Atlantic. So conditions are favorable in terms of the sea surface temperatures. So those more unfavorable upper level winds are indicated by those red lines, and we see those ahead of our disturbance, but conditions should be conducive enough to allow for it to strengthen, to gradually strengthen as we head through the next couple of days. And as we go on to the dry air map, we can see that most of the dry air lies to the north of the disturbance. There we have Depression 6, 98L, that next tropical wave. So very moist conditions, warm waters, and the winter is not going to be taking much of a toll on it. Definite environment for intensification of this. So it is currently impacting Eastern Islands, as I said. And if you're in the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and even for Puerto Rico, you want to keep watch. So even though the center is expected to pass over the Dominican Republic, it could still be close enough in proximity to other areas to result in dangerous impacts as well. And of course, I'll continue to keep you guys posted. Stay tuned for my evening update. And that is pretty much it for right now. And I hope you found this video to be quite informative. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll respond once I get the chance to. And as always, remember to weatherwise.